Shutting up shop in the south of France as world leaders and protesters arrive for the G7 summit. Security is tight around the small seaside town of Biarritz. France is deploying 13,000 police officers alongside soldiers and drones to protect the site. For Boris Johnson, it's the culmination of a week of pressing the flesh on the continent, pushing the case for a new Brexit deal. It's the new Prime Minister's first big international event, and speaking about Brexit ahead of it, he said, "Some people question the democratic decision this country has made, fearing that we will retreat from the world. Some think Britain's best days are behind us. To those people I say, you are gravely mistaken." While Downing Street has played down any chances of an immediate Brexit breakthrough, this weekend will give Boris Johnson vital face time with EU leaders and the European Council President Donald Tusk. But with representatives from across the world descending on the small French town, other issues such as the environment are likely to dominate. Protesters have already targeted a chemicals factory near to the summit. French President Emmanuel Macron has put the environment squarely on the agenda, with Boris Johnson also saying he will urge action to tackle climate change. Back in the UK, the Labour leader says the message must get through to everybody.
The environmental emergency the whole world faces is serious. Global warming that's going on, global pollution that's going on, and the fires in the Amazon rainforest, which President Bolsonaro of Brazil is actually promoting. So put all the pressure you can on President Trump to recognise just how dangerous the situation is around the world.
Leaving Washington overnight, Donald Trump could also be flying into arguments over his hardline stance on Iran, along with his views on Russia and policies on China.
I think it'll be very productive, seeing a lot of the leaders who are friends of mine for the most part. Wouldn't say in 100% of the cases, but for the most part.
Before he left, the president spoke to Boris Johnson by phone. When they sit down tomorrow, the Prime Minister will say the NHS will not be on the table in any future post-Brexit deal. But trade won't be the only topic of conversation.
It'll be a difficult balancing act on something like relations with Iran, for instance. America is out of step with all its European allies. And I think on this too, Boris Johnson will want to side with the Europeans. On trade matters, of course, it's very important that an early trade deal is struck.
Whether it's the protesters outside or the politicians in, a relaxing weekend by the seaside, this won't be. Rob Powell, Sky News.